Hey everybody, welcome back to the Verdigris Table and D&D 101. I'm Ryan Doyle, and in this video we are talking about armor in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. Armor class, or AC, is a number that represents how difficult it is to hit a thing in a way that does damage to it. Player characters, non-player characters, monsters, even a lot of inanimate objects like a door is going to have an AC. Most of a player's armor class is coming from the armor that they're wearing. Makes sense, right? Armor comes in 3 basic categories: light, medium, and heavy. And a character is going to have proficiency with some of those categories, or maybe all of those categories. If you were to put on something that you're not proficient in, if you were to put in ring mail without being proficient in heavy armor, you would still have an AC of 14, but now you're going to have disadvantage on pretty much everything you do that uses strength or dexterity, plus you won't be able to cast spells while wearing it. In light or medium armor, you also get to add your dexterity modifier to your armor class. So a rogue with a +3 dex wearing leather would have an AC of 14. That's 11 from the leather armor plus 3 from their dexterity. In medium armor, there is a cap to how much you can benefit from dexterity. It's a maximum of 2 points. In heavy armor, you don't add your dexterity at all, and it makes sense if you think about it, right? Being dexterous, being dodgy, helps you avoid taking damage, but the more heavy stuff you are wearing, the less dodgy you're going to be. There are some classes that feature Unarmored Defense and add other modifiers on top of their dex. A monk, for instance, gets 10, which is like the baseline here for someone not wearing armor. And they can add their dexterity modifier and their wisdom modifier, like their situational awareness in battle, to determine their armor class. Barbarians are adding their constitution modifier as well as their dexterity. Speaking of dexterity, some types of armor, including everything in the heavy category, are going to impose disadvantage on stealth checks. This is something that I see dropped or forgotten about at the table quite often, but it does make sense to me. If you are clanking around covered in 40 to 70 pounds of metal, it's going to be a challenge to, sneak around undetected. If you don't want to use this rule at your table, that's fine. Just know that is homebrew and not rules as written. Again, that is okay. I conveniently sometimes, and sometimes actually just simply forget about it at my table, and that's okay. We get a handy little table of the standard options for armor on page 145 of the player's handbook and page 46 of the basic rules. Links down below to both of those. I'm going to pop that table up here on the screen. You'll notice that there are costs listed here, and some of these options can get pretty expensive. A lot of characters are going to be saving up for their first big purchase of an armor upgrade. We also get weight on here, and if you're playing with encumbrance, that's important to know. And even if you're not using encumbrance, pay attention to the 3 heavies that do have a minimum strength requirement in order to wear them. Before I take this down, I'm going to point your attention to the final line on here, the simple shield, a steel at 10 gold pieces. Unlike other items on this list, shields give you a simple +2 bonus to your AC, regardless of whatever else is going on. Now keep in mind, you need to be proficient with shields in order to wield one, or you're going to get disadvantage on most everything you do in combat. Also, it requires 1 arm to use. You can attach a holy symbol or other spell focus to the shield for spell casting, but you're going to have to drop it, unequip it, give up that +2 AC in order to use a 2-handed weapon. Next up in the series, that's exactly what we're talking about. Weapons. Looking forward to that. Until then, get out there, have fun, be kind, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.